Welcome. I want to take a look at the numbers out from Apple, the fiscal first quarter earnings out after the US close on Tuesday, the 31st of January. Here are the main numbers that Bloomberg's targeting. Earnings per share of $3.22, down from $3.28 this time last year. Revenue, well, that's up $77.4 billion, up from $74.9 billion in the fiscal first quarter last year, on 76 million iPhones sold against 75 million this time last year. But the average selling price is down year on year from $691 per unit to $688. Now, if these numbers come to pass, it would mark a step change out of 3 consecutive quarters of overall year-on-year declines in revenue. It relies on Apple products having had a good Christmas and a new year, which is the biggest quarter for the company. But also watch out for future guidance. Investors and traders will want to see if there is a drop in demand for the iPhone 7 ahead of the launch of the newest iPhone, which is expected to go on sale towards the end of this year. There's another story as well that's developing, and that circles around its services business. This includes the App Store, the Apple Music, and the warranties business. Together, this is the area that's second only to the iPhone in terms of overall revenue. Let's take a look at this chart behind me to get a better idea as to what's happening. In the long-term picture, we are at levels not seen since the 4th of November 2015. This is an all-session stock on the IG platform. It means you can trade it outside of US hours, which includes the time when it reports earnings. So it's possible to trade this during the time when the earnings come through. So if they're widely outside of expectations, it's always a good opportunity to take advantage on the IG platform to trade Apple stock. Let's take a look at what's happened today. This is since the beginning of 2016, so this is well over a year, this chart is. But look what's happened today. This is the beginning of Monday's session, all sessions in the European trading day. We're an hour into the trading day on Monday, so we are well over a day away from the earnings numbers. But we're coming from the top of this upward part of the channel here. Now, if you look at the long-term picture of this, you can actually see that over a very long period, we've got this rising wedge. Now, that is, technically speaking, a negative pattern, although we are at the top end of this. But you can see the point at which it tops out. Yes, it rises, but it's rising at less of a pace than the bottom here. And the fear is that potentially this could end up exhausting itself and then tip out of the bottom of this rising wedge. So let's take a look at some of the technical analysis that goes with this. And you can see here that the relative strength index, we are overbought, or have just come back from being overbought. You can see just pulling down below the 70 level on the 14-day RSI. I want to take a look as well at the stochastics at the bottom here. You can see that we are still technically overbought at these levels, although that it too is coming back. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. The MACD, we're at an interesting point there as well, where there is no histogram. The histograms point to a widening and a shrinkage of the distance between the red line, the red dotted line, and the blue line. In other words, we are pretty much exactly the same in equilibrium there at the moment. So waiting for direction from the MACD. Will we get that tomorrow after the earnings come out tomorrow? Well, certainly if it's a good number at this level here at 120.95, we're looking potentially for a topping out at this 123.80 level here, which coincides with the last high point that we saw on the 3rd of November 2015. This is a long-term chart. On the downside, we've got support here at 119.85, and then below that we've got this rising wedge support line here, which comes in well below at 112. And in between that, we've then got the 50 and the 100-day moving average. So lots of support and resistance points to watch out for when Apple reports after the close on Tuesday, but certainly you can trade that on the IG platform. One thing I would say though, if we do get extremes of movement, do make sure that if you go long, you put a stop in just below the point at which you take that pricing point out. And if you want to go short, then of course you'll put the stop just above where the point is. At that point you put the trade on. So do remember, stops are very important. But that's it, and we're looking forward to those numbers out after the close on Tuesday.